I appreciate what y'all trying to do for me here.
We're worried about you, buddy. Lockdown hasn't been easy for any of us. But Philip told me you haven't left the bath for a week.
Oh, that's hyperbole. Well, get that, would you?
You're not in the bath again, are you?
No. I lose it between cases anyway. I think I might be going insane. In my mind is a fueled-up racing car, and I got nowhere to drive it.
Can I ask, have you tried crosswords?
No, Natasha. I don't need puzzles or games. The last thing I need is a vacation. I need danger, the hunt, the challenge. I need a great case.
Huh? Someone here for you. With a box.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
Yeah, where's your accent?
Oh, the greater good.
What? What just happened?
That was the greater good.
Okay. That's more Cajun, I think, than whatever.
Is it?
Yeah, you want to let it roll off of your mouth
real
like
talk,
like
like-
molasses.
Yeah,
Yeah, real
okay.
slow, kind of
I like it. What?
Savannah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Andrew, not going to lie, with the goatee and then you saying that, it reminded me of Loveless from the Wild Wild West.
I am so sorry. Yeah,
No, it's
of
fine.
all things, that's the worst thing I could probably put
I
into
know,
your
but
mind.
like his I loved his act. Kenneth Branagh in that role is ridiculous but fun at the same time.
That's true.
This is episode 432, and tonight we're talking about The Glass Onion, which is a sequel to Knives Out, which also has a dumb name because I think it's like The Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, which is annoying because,
Just call it Knives Out too.
well,
Yeah.
but
No,
or just call it The Glass Onion.
just leave it glass onion.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Glass Onion, and then you don't need a subtitle. Or you can call it The Glass Onion, a Blanc Benoit,
There you go.
whatever.
Or a
right?
Benoit Blanc. Had
Yeah.
they said that Knives Out was a Benoit Blanc story, then they could have used it on this one.
Yeah, but I don't think that they realized. I don't think
They didn't know how popular it would be, how
Yeah.
how well
Right,
it would come
Johnson
out.
realized
Yeah.
because he's not the lead actor in that movie.
Not really,
It's
no.
an Ana de Armas movie. And like Chris Evans has almost as much screen time as Daniel Craig, whereas in this movie, this is a Daniel Craig vehicle.
Yeah.
You could retrofit it like Star Wars did, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Before we do any of that, though, I must introduce these people, especially that voice that we don't know who it is, a mysterious voice enters the podcast. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. You must buttress your feelings against me, sir. Jimison.
I tell you, I do buttress quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is kind of like Loveless, isn't it? I just
Little
noticed. Munitia.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yes, yeah.
Munitia.
Rita.
Miss Lip and Rita. Sorry. Okay. I'm
It's
I'm
not
done with
just
that now.
the accent. It's like the timbre of your voice. Like it's the same. Like I could have you read lines and see if we can get people to figure out which one is which. I like it.
Well,
This
if
is
they
a
do
fun-
Wild Wild West 2, I'll audition.
Oh, I think he got killed in that movie. But that's okay. Sam,
Yes.
Death by Pineapple Juice really seems right up your alley, Vector.
Well, absolutely. Luckily, I'm not allergic to pineapple juice. But
No,
you know what? Well, first of all, don't mind Daryl. He's kind of tagging along for this podcast. But Daryl and I would really like to get you, Sean, to eat some shellfish over here.
Okay.
I know you don't eat it, but we're hoping there's an allergy.
I'm not allergic to shellfish. I've had it.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
I don't not eat it because I'm allergic to it. I don't eat it because it tastes bad.
Tastes amazing.
To me, it doesn't taste good. To me,
It just tastes like fish.
It tastes like
It's not-
salt. Yeah,
Fish, I think we can all agree. Fish is when you have to cover something up with vinegar or lemon, it's probably not that great.
or butter. Yeah,
But we eat it anyway.
Fish is the best.
Well, I don't. I cook myself a steak and let my wife eat all the seafood. In fact, this weekend she had a bad weekend this weekend, so I cooked her a steamed Dungeness crab for her.
Oh, nice.
See, I know how to cook seafood. Well, I know how to cook some seafood.
Yeah.
I know how to steam it and grill it and things like that. But I just eat my steak and I'm happy as a pig in poop. All right. Making his Cheapseat Reviews debut is Audie. Does he have to helicopter that blue Porsche onto the island? Norman from the Let's Watch Highlander and Those Were the Days podcast.
Hello. Thank you, gents, for having me on.
Absolutely, man.
And it's funny, anytime Southern accent is involved, and I am in the South in Georgia, me and my wife always defer to The Office when there has been a murder and they're playing the murder mystery.
That's right.
Nice. One day I'll understand what that means.
Oh, you poor soul.
Breaking my heart.
No.
Killing me, Smalls.
That's okay. I got yelled at earlier today because some friends of mine are watching Donnie Darko tonight, and I have not seen that. And I made that comment. And once again, I got the, oh my God, you haven't seen that movie. And I'm like, I know, I haven't. It just got to a point where I was like, well, no one wants to watch it with me, so I won't watch it. And then we started the podcast, and I thought, well, we'll just do it for the podcast one day. And
yeah, I haven't seen it either. So
yeah, I haven't either. So we need to do this.
Wow, add me to that vote.
Yeah.
That's amazing that the three of us hadn't seen it. That's
right.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get some hate mail. I can't believe you're a movie podcast and you haven't seen Donnie Darko. Yes, no, we've watched other things.
We've
Yeah,
got
At this
billions.
400
point, we're old enough. There's so
432
much
things.
stinking content.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was just one that I missed. And the funny thing is, there's at least 3 different people that have said to me, "Oh my gosh, if you do it, I have to be the guest on that show." Like I've heard that so many times that I've forgotten who has said it. So like, I guess whenever I am ready to do it, I might just throw up on Twitter and say, "Hey, who offered?" 'Cause I honestly don't remember. It might have been Ebony, our Australian listener Ebony, but it also might have been Carrie from Dick Tales. Like, I really don't remember.
It was a female.
It was
Yeah,
definitely a
it was
female.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after this
Yeah.
episode, they'll start
Dudes
shouting
don't
at you.
yell at me like women do. There's something to be said about that. All right. So again, Glass Onion 2022's The Glass Onion, starring Daniel Craig and a bunch of people. I mean, a bunch of, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson. Why can't I say that word? Hudson, Dave Bautista, Catherine Hahn, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr., and
yeah.
all of the fun cameos you could possibly squeeze into one movie. Like, it was one of those where it was like I know that Star Wars, the sequels, have some fun cameos in stormtroopers. Like Daniel Craig is the stormtrooper that Rey does the Jedi mind trick on for the first time. So like, he just wanted to be in Star Wars, and that's cool. But it was like, it's just like Ryan Johnson was like, "Hey, who wants to be in my movie as yourself?" Okay. How about the star of the next show that I'm putting together? All right, you can come hang out and like
Ethan Hawke apparently was just in the neighborhood. So
Yeah.
like he's like, I'll do it. I'll be in there.
because he looked like he was still in his
The Mummy, not Mummy.
yeah.
Oh, what's it called?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his Moon Knight costume. Like, he just
Yeah.
came straight from that set.
Yep.
And he's like, "Okay, open your mask." Sprays it. "What is that?" "You're good." He never tells him. Love that.
It's just Banaka.
Wow, that's a callback.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, but not gonna.
Yeah.
Grant, Serena Williams, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Steven Sondheim. I mean, it's just chock full of these cameos, and it's just every one of them is funny to me. I just absolutely love it.
They were great.
It makes me happy. It really did. Andrew, what do you tell us? What is Glass Onion, a Knives Out murder mystery story thing?
You forgot Yo-Yo Ma.
Oh, yeah, that
yeah,
was
right.
another surprise.
Wasn't it, though?
Yeah.
And also, can I just say before we get started, Dave Bautista's head looks like a Shar-Pei puppy. It's just all wrinkly and sorry.
It is weird seeing him not in Drax makeup.
Yeah. I think they have to put a skull cap on him because his Drax head is much smoother. I swear it looks like the surface of the moon on like there's craters and canyons and
All those
he's
years of fighting, I guess. I don't know.
I guess
Yeah.
so. I guess one day I'll be there too. So anyway, Glass Onion. Famed Southern detective Benoit Blanc travels to Greece for his latest case. And that is all IMDb tells us.
Wow.
That
All
is
right.
the worst description of a movie I've ever seen. So let's do this. 5 longtime friends are invited to the Greek island home of billionaire Miles Braun. All 5 know Braun from way back and owe their current wealth, fame, and careers to him. The main event is a murder weekend game with Braun to be the victim. In reality, they all have reasons to actually kill him. Also invited is Benoit Blanc, the world's greatest detective.
All right. That
That
actually
tells a little
tells
bit
you
more.
what happens.
Yeah.
A little bit. Gives you a nice
A little bit.
there. Yeah. All right. So I watched this movie 3 times. Once because I wanted to. The second time was because my mother-in-law and wife wanted to, and the third time was the podcast. So anybody else see it more than once?
Yeah.
I saw the first, I think maybe 30 minutes of it tonight again. I'm starting Kimberly to go through it. So
All right.
yeah.
That's
I
cool.
watched it 3 times as well.
But it's because you kept falling asleep, right?
No, the first 2 times I actually wanted to, well, the first time was a pleasant surprise. And I said, I'm going to watch this again. And I did. And then I found out we were doing it for the podcast. So I did it again.
And this again, this is one of those right, Audie, am I wrong? Wasn't this a fill-in because something else got pulled, or was this always what we were going to do?
No, I think this is what we were going to do. You gave me some options, and then as soon as you threw up Glass Onion, I was like, oh, that one.
Okay, I couldn't remember. That's happened like 4 times this year so far, and I think this is only our 4th podcast, maybe our 3rd. Maybe it happened 3 times. I don't remember. What it is important is that it's happened enough that I can't remember. All right, so let's do. It just occurred to me that 2 out of the last 3 guests have been ANTP guests. That's kind of fun. I'm looking ahead. We don't have any more on schedule, which is fine because we had Bill Meeks on 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
For Into the Woods. All right, who wants to go first? The 5-word review. How about Sam?
All right. I've got 2 of them tonight. And my first one is It Just Keeps Getting Better. And the second one is My Brain Hurts Now. and I've got to explain that one because I'm watching it for the podcast, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I'm watching it trying to catch clues, trying to catch, something out of the ordinary, something in the background, something that tells me what the story is going to be about. But then, doggone it, Andrew, there is so much stuff in the background that Andrew has so many things to pick from for his stupid little quiz that he does on this podcast that my brain just started melting by about midway through this movie.
Yeah, you can't pay attention to that.
Oh my gosh. So, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love how, just like the Glass Onion, it's layered, and I love how halfway through the movie you finally realize what's going on and it turns itself on its head. And I thought it was brilliant. I was surprised. I didn't see any of the clues that they mentioned about halfway through the movie in the first place. I enjoyed all the characters. I thought they were fun. Birdie is hilarious, and everybody wants to hang out with Birdie, and I certainly would as well. But no, I thought Rian Johnson did a great job with this again. Yet another fun whodunit murder mystery / storytelling experience. So I thought it was a great film.
All right, right on.
Now, before we go any further,
Okay.
I think there was too much Blanc.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I think there was too much of him. And I know maybe because of the whole Southern accent, it bothers me only because we're from the South and we hear real Southern accents. But I just think there was maybe just a little too much. I loved the mysterious nature that he had in the first movie, where you didn't quite know who he was, but you knew he was, smart. This one kind of took away some of his mystery in terms of what he was doing and how he was thinking. So that's my only problem, is that I think there was just too much of a good thing. Just like, Jurassic Park Lost World showed too many dinosaurs. It's kind of like, too much of a good thing can be bad for you. So.
And gymnastics.
Yeah, we won't mention gymnastics.
All right.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Interesting.
No, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made. I thought it looked fantastic. There's only one shot that I can't remember where it was, but it was behind them and they were looking out towards the sea or something, and it was definitely green screen. That took me out of the movie. But other than that, I thought it was good.
All right, right on. Okay. Yep. Audie, what do you got?
All right, I've got two. My first one was, wait, I forgot to mention. Just because halfway through the movie, it's like, Bert, let me tell you what's really going on. And I was like, oh, okay. And then
That
my
makes
second,
sense now. Yeah.
my second one was, not all mysteries are complicated, which is, one thing I love about this movie is how it ends, and it's just like he's just going off like, oh, this was stupid. This whole thing was stupid. It's like, no, maybe it was like so whatever. And it's like, no, it was just stupid.
Stupid.
And Blanc admits, and I think Rian Johnson is telling us, yeah, all this complication was for naught. It was just about something dumb. And I kind of think there was some meta in there in him doing the movie the way he did, and I really love that about it. I too watched it twice, and I love that because I think Sean mentioned it last week about how the second viewing is different, and it's different in that way of like you see what's going on more, you understand reactions a lot better. You're like, oh, okay.
Well,
So,
Miles, especially Miles, right?
Yeah.
What in his seeing Helen for the first time, I thought was that was now that I've seen it, the second way through, it's like, oh, that's a tell. That is such a tell that I missed the first time through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it just plays off as just, oh, he's surprised that she's there, and then when you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, again, guys, if you're watching or listening, spoilers. All right, we do spoil the things. I just in case, again, you're new here, we spoiled the thing. So like when he looks at her, he's surprised that she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so like that look is like he wants to say, Andy, you're alive, So,
Right.
But Edward Norton does such a great look. Like his looks are just really, really good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna revisit Sam your too much Blanc. I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I want to go back to that conversation because I may or may not agree with you. So we'll see.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. Andrew, what's your 5-word review?
Okay. It's enjoyable, but not as congenial as the presiding.
That's perfect. Because you're totally right.
So to translate, not in the words of Miles Braun, I liked it a lot, but I don't like it as much as I love Knives Out. I really love Knives Out a lot, and I think it's more clever, and I think that it's a whodunit story that we haven't seen before, if that makes sense. This one, it didn't feel lazy, but it just felt like, I don't know. It kind of goes back to your comment about his reaction. about he just is like, this was dumb. Like I, I don't know that was the right way to end. Um, and it did kind of seem at the end like, yeah, we just blew up this guy's house and fortune, and well, not really his fortune, but we've severely screwed him with burning the Mona Lisa. But somebody with that amount of wealth, I mean, I kind of relate Miles to a Elon Musk type person, and someone with that kind of wealth, even all the damage that she did is not going to hurt him. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like he got his comeuppance necessarily.
Well, the damage to the house isn't about the money. It's about the fact that his house blew up with the stuff that he wants to put in people's homes.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean,
the financial ramification's not the big deal. It's the fact that there's now evidence that, yeah, this stuff explodes.
Well, so. I took it as that now all the people left there are going to testify against him. Well, therefore, his wealth is going to be taken from him once it goes back to the court, and they testify that, no, he did copy the napkin, and all of those shares, all of that ownership would transfer to her, or to whatever her name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a more enjoyable ending for me if it were more clear that that's what had happened.
Yeah. It was. I think it was left up.
They literally are sitting on the steps, and they're like, I saw him light the napkin on fire. I saw like they're all basically, it's because the leverage has changed, right? Because before he had leverage on them. Then when she burned the Mona Lisa, it's like, your wonder chemical that's supposed to fuel the world just burned the Mona Lisa. So now you've lost a lot of wealth because of that, because the insurance company is going to come after $100 million or whatever the Mona Lisa is worth, whatever he insured it for, right? So he's losing that wealth along with his name, and so now he doesn't have that financial leverage over them. So that's why they're willing to turn on him, because it's advantageous for them to do so.
Yeah, I still feel like, though, there's not, the ramification of his actions are not is not
he's
justified.
Not punished. Yeah, he's not punished. But in a way, isn't that turning a murder mystery on its head? Like every murder mystery you see, the police come in, put the guy in handcuffs, and walk him away. In this case, that didn't happen. And in fact, I kind of gasped when the napkin did start on fire.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what are they going to do now? Like, what the heck? What's the next thing? I was hoping it was a fake napkin. That's sit there in these types of movies. But I think, once again, he turned the trope on its head of a murder mystery and gave us a different ending than we're used to. Now, is that a good thing? Maybe, maybe not. I appreciated it. I thought it was kind of interesting that my expectations were usurped from what I thought was going to happen.
And I think there's something to be said also about the fallout that would happen from anybody who destroys the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Like I run in a lot of artist circles, and the number of people that I know who had like very, very emotional responses to that of a fake Mona Lisa just in a movie getting destroyed like that. They were like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I can endorse this movie with that kind of thing happening. I was like, it's a movie. It didn't actually happen. You know that? It's like, yeah, but still, that's the Mona Lisa. So like the impact that would have on the world, like, the whole thing he was talking about, I want to be in the same breath as the Mona Lisa. And it's like, oh, you'd be in the same breath. All right. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, it's also like when movies do something ridiculous. Like I kind of equate that to in The Kingsman, when they blow up all of Parliament and the U.S. government, and you know what I'm saying, like like the world would have gone into financial ruin if the entire executive branch of the U.S. government and England and France and whatever all their heads exploded. It would be chaos. But that's what he was going for that movie. By the way, we can't go any further until we address the elephant in the room. And by the elephant, I mean the fact that Sam put my face on an onion in his background. Like,
What?
I just
Nice.
found this random photo on the internet, and
I love how Sam has enough time to podcast prep, watch the movie, and still Photoshop my face into an onion. So weird. Is that you didn't use an AI for that, right? Like you put my face there, right?
I found this on the internet. I tell you can find just about anything out
was
there.
already there.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks like onions with like that one right by your shoulder looks like a piece of sausage with egg.
yeah, a little bit.
It's kind of weird. All right. Anyway, again, sorry for the podcast. You'll have to find our YouTube and go look. It's very disturbing. All right. Is it my turn? Is it my turn for 5 words?
It is your turn.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Go ahead.
Smart, clever, fun Southern accent.
Okay.
That's all I wrote. So I love this movie. Again, I watched it 3 times. I really love this movie. Do I love it more than Knives Out? No, I love it differently than Knives Out because to me, it's a very different film. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's okay to like 1989 Batman and The Dark Knight. You can like them both the same. They're very different from each other. And to me, that's what this is. This is a different movie than Knives Out. It has a different feel. It just, you know, I guess it has some of the same, you know, directorial choices and things like that, but it's a different movie. And I love this movie. I really do. I want more Daniel Craig. I love his accent. I want all of it. I want him to say more things. I really love it. Now, according to someone else who I have, because I haven't seen Logan Lucky, but basically it's the same accent as what he does in Logan Lucky. And now I want to watch that movie, not just because it was filmed up the street from where I live, but also because I want Daniel Craig's Southern accent. But I had a really good time with this. So Sam says maybe too much Daniel Craig. So
Yeah, I did.
how was the rest of the team here? Because I say it was the right amount. I think it was the perfect amount. What say you, Audie?
No, I'm with you. I think this was the right amount. I think in Knives Out, he had to be mysterious because of it wasn't a focus on him, but he was the one coming in to solve the mystery. At this one, it's everything from his perspective because these people are the mystery to us, the audience, and we're supposed to be going along with Benoit Blanc on this journey, as it were, to figure out what the heck's going on. So I think it works that we're with him most of the time and that he's the main focus for the most part. And I'm with you. I enjoy the accent. Like it definitely, I went to school in Savannah, so this definitely felt like something I heard down there a lot from some of the natives down there. So the accent was fine with me. And yeah, just more of Daniel Craig doing stuff like this, having those great one-liners, like when he's talking to Birdie about just because you say a lot doesn't mean it's intelligent. I'm paraphrasing there, but like great little lines like that.
You quoted like half of my clips already. I love it. All right, well, Andrew, what do you think? How are you feeling there?
Well, I'm fine with it. I like him and as an actor, and I like him in this role. And I think that he was really one of the better parts of Knives Out, even though he was not the central focus of that movie. So I didn't have a problem with it. And his accent, you know, you don't, at least I don't hear people talking like that on a daily basis in the South. Maybe I don't live in the right area, but it's a little over the top. But again, that could be his British self. That could be the only American accent that he can do without, I don't know. Maybe not. He's a great actor. I'm sure he can do others, but, or, you know, Ryan Johnson heard that and said, that's funny. Do it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it is over the top. This one did
Yeah.
feel a lot more over the top than Knives Out, for sure. Right? This
Yeah.
one felt where they gave the actors a lot of room to be crazy in this one, and to act kind of, well, just almost overact in some points.
I think
Yeah.
the family does a pretty good job of that kind of thing, kind of acting the trope that they are. But
Mhm.
Benoit Blanc in that movie, he's just in a suit and he's very reserved. He's very like in this thing, he's wearing a kerchief and this like pinkish thing, and he's very flamboyant. I mean, they really kind of, for lack of a better word, they up the gay in
Oh
this
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
Whereas in the first one, he's just a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So like I really like that I mean Hugh Grant as his I guess partner was just I loved it when he answered the door. I just thought, "Hey, I just watched you in The Gentleman." So it's a very different role for you. But no, I loved his accent. Like there are very few people that can do Hollywood that can do Southern. I mean, Matthew McConaughey is from the South. He's from Texas, so that's just his normal talking voice. But most other ones that when they try to do Southern, it's just really bad. That it's like not offensive is not the word, but like offensive. You know, like fake offensive. But whereas
Not
this,
offensive, but offensive.
you know,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
real actual offensive, right? But just
Yeah.
you know, it's just ugh, guys, come on, just get someone from the South, right? Whereas for some reason his was music to my ears. I just loved listening to him talk. I could listen to that guy in that accent read the phone book. It was great for me.
Well, it's part of the whole. Apparently, everybody from Europe can do an American accent better than we could ever try to do any of their accents at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
How's
mean,
that German, Sean?
yeah, it's still bad. Like listening to Michael Caine do Southern in Secondhand Lions was great because he's
Yeah.
good at it. So I'm with you. All right. Well, I didn't actually take a whole lot of notes, even though it's mainly because I watched it 3 times. So I just forgot. It's like, well, I won't really need to take notes because I'll just remember so much of the movie. And I guess also when you're talking about a murder mystery for the podcast, you know, you're kind of thinking like, do we want to, you know, do we talk about the clues? Do we talk about the way that the director peeled back the layers like the glass onion? I'm not really sure what to do here, but I mean, is there a part that you guys liked the most? Is there a part that you hated? Like, is there anything that didn't work for you? I mean, where do we want to go here? Sam.
Where do I want to go here? The only thing that well, I didn't appreciate, you know, Knives Out, it was a wealthy family, right? But it felt attainable, or it felt relatable. This, for some reason, didn't feel relatable at all to any of these characters. Only because they're just, I don't know, just none of these people were. How can I say it? They're just on a trillionaires island in the middle of nowhere. It just felt very foreign to me because it was Greece.
Yeah. No, I can agree. And, you know, like I said, it feels very Elon Musk, you know, although I think he would be too awkward of a human being to actually hang out with in the same room.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he's probably listening to this and it's fine. Whatever.
I'm sure he listens to us.
No, his bots do.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I just, you're right. It doesn't feel real, as in, you know, maybe because the other movie took place in a house, and yes, it was a nice house. It was almost a mansion, but this one is like, you know, there's the entire glass room that is his office, and there's the piano from Liberace, and there's his car out on the helipad or wherever it is. And it just, I don't know. There's something about it that I agree. It's a little far out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is what I enjoyed about Daniel Craig as Blanc being thrown into this or coming into this. Like he felt like our character to be with, and just, so many times he's looking around like, this is crazy. Y'all are crazy. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
he was the fish out of water in this one. Which
I
was
would also,
interesting.
I think of all of them, I think Peg is the one I could have related to more as Artie's
Peg.
assistant,
Poor Peg.
just because being that person that has to help out and do everything and nobody knows your name. And, like she tries to talk to Miles and he's like, who are you again? Like doesn't even care about who she is kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it is about this movie is I don't really care about the people.
Yeah.
They're not relatable, I guess, except
well,
for those.
not until you meet the real Helen.
Right.
Right.
Except for Helen and Benoit Blanc in some aspects. But like you said, Peg, and that's about it. I mean, the people that are doing real world jobs, I feel like I can kind of relate to them, but we still don't know. There's maybe not enough backstory about each one to care about them enough.
I don't think you're supposed to care about them. They're all kind of horrible people, just like in Knives Out. I mean, no one in that family is a good human. Even the girl's best friend in the family still lies and tries to get her to, rescind the whatever. So they all suck. Everyone in that family sucks. They suck. Their suckage is a little bit more muted. They're less flamboyant because there's more of them, right? So you can't have them be as crazy. Whereas in this movie, you've got crazy right winger Dave Bautista and his, arm candy there, who whatever, and then you've got Whiskey, which is a fun name, and then you've got Crazy Birdie, who is like everything wrong with Twitter, wrapped into one blonde, right? And then you've got this brilliant scientist, but is just in it for the money. Then you've got a corrupt politician, which is, oh geez, we all know that, so like they're all. I don't think that we're supposed to relate to them. I think we're supposed to look at them and go, you are all terrible people, and here you are going to play around with this horrible dude, the billionaire, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with not caring about them. Honestly, the only thing that would have, and I think to Andrew's point, because you said there's no consequences, we don't know what the consequences are. It would not have hurt my feelings if they all got arrested somehow. The police boat finally does show up. Blanc is sitting there smoking a cigar with Doug or whatever his name was, and Daryl, thank you. And then the police show up, and he's like, just arrest them all. Just they're except for her, arrest them all.
Well, it kind of goes back to like what we saw last week in the menu. All these people, you kind of want them to get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
they do in that one.
And they do in that movie. And you're right. I mean, all these people are not great people, but I didn't really want to see anything happen to them except for Miles, who I still don't think. Sorry. I was just going to say, I think if he had been blown up in the building, I would have been fine.
That could have been interesting. I think the other thing is making them so terrible at the beginning, setting this, because it's a Knives Out mystery, you're immediately trying to figure out who's the worst.
Right.
Until Rian Johnson's like, oh, wait, let me flip you on your head a little bit. So I think it's kind of playing into what he's trying to do with this movie, too.
Now, just wait. The next one, the worst person is going to end up being the best person, or the least guilty, or something along that lines. That's how these things work.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
The progression, yeah, because they're pointing us in one way, and they love to pull the rug out. So, yeah.
All right. I was trying to see if they already announced the next one. It doesn't look like it.
I think Craig has said he's ready for at least one or two more. I read somewhere, like he's game.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. I wouldn't think it would take him that long to film these things.
Well, filming probably isn't the problem. Rian Johnson's got to write another murder mystery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't, conflict with some of the other ones that have already been made. Like he can't rip
You
off.
can't copy somebody else's.
Yeah, he can't. It has to be different enough.
How about Benoit solving the murder
Oh my
mystery
gosh.
night?
That was
That was-
amazing.
Yeah.
Especially after him talking about like he can never figure out Clue. He feels like it's a dumb game.
Yeah, I'm so bad at dumb things. Oh, Knives Out 3 is already in development.
There you go.
Oh, good.
I mean, it's in development.
Yeah.
It says 2024. Just one year.
Wow.
Just next year. Yeah.
There you go.
Sweet. Yeah, like I said, if he's got stories, they can pump these things out pretty quick.
Mhm.
So the problem is, well, here's the big question: did it get worse or the same or better than the first Knives Out?
What do you mean quality? What do you mean?
Well, in terms of, we all love Knives Out, and the only reason you get a sequel is because people are demanding more of the same, right? The Lost World was horrible, right? It was a big step down from Jurassic Park.
What?
Jurassic Park 3 was a leap off of a cliff from the second one. But it's very rare for movies to maintain the quality, and I'm just trying to think. I don't know if I've got to go see the first one again, but I think it did pretty well to keep up the quality in terms of the whodunit nature of it, right? The idea that it kind of kept me guessing and kept me wondering what the heck was going to happen next. I had a really good time with that aspect of this movie. So, is the quality the same? Is it worth more sequels?
I personally think it is. I do. I think that the quality is as good. I think everything about it is as good as Knives Out.
Yeah.
The only thing that we don't have is the surprise factor, because Knives Out was so surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And so this time it's like, okay, well, the expectations are set. The bar is here. You're gonna have to meet the bar, and I think he did. Do I think he surpassed it? No, I don't. Because like you just said, the majority of the time the sequels are worse, right? We could go on a small little tangent of, well, which sequels are equal and better than the original, and we can do that list, and it wouldn't be very long. Is the point? We can say the Lord of the Rings franchise. We think that there's a little bit of argument, but there's not a huge drop from 1 to 2, right? You might like 1 better than 2, but it's not like it's a drop. Star Trek 1 to 2 is a huge leap up. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion, is a step up. But then you have, for every one of those, you have 10 Speed and Speed 2. And Jurassic World and Jurassic World 2.
Yeah.
And insert whatever else movie you want to do. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I don't know. I couldn't think of a Transformers and
God.
the rest.
Oh.
So I think it did, personally. I think this thing knocked it out of the park, personally. So
I agree. I think it definitely is on the same level as Knives Out. And I think it's the one thing that I think is really interesting and maybe would be interesting to see him play with is it feels like these two movies are very different in the season that they are in. Knives Out definitely feels like a fall movie.
Yeah.
This one on the island in the Bahamas, it's summertime. Like they're in swimwear and bikinis and everything.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if the next one, is he going to be?
He's going to be in the winter
ski resort.
in a trailer park.
Locked down. Like him and Hugh Grant get locked down somewhere and have the two of them try to solve a mystery. That's what I want to see next. Get some Hugh Grant in there with him. Let's see their dynamic.
I think Helen needs to be the Watson. He was mentioning how well she was being finding clues. I think it'd be kind of fun to have her come along as a Watson.
I don't think it would work because
no.
Well, because they didn't have anyone else come through from the first movie. I mean, technically they did. Daryl was like the cop one of the cops from Knives Out, but it's not the same guy, right? It's just the
Right.
same actor. Like that's just Ryan Johnson's buddy, right?
Yeah.
But I
No.
don't think you could do it. If you were gonna do it, I like the idea that Hugh Grant turns into his Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're on a trip together and they stumble in on a murder mystery at a. Well, if they did Fall, then if this is, yeah, I guess if they do 4, then you could do all of them, right? You do the last one at the winter. So like if this is like spring, I guess it's somewhere in the Mediterranean, but it's kind of always somewhere in the Mediterranean. So they could do another summer one, I guess. I don't know. I like your idea though, like maybe doing a winter one.
Yeah, but you're right. Like in a lodge, right? Like
yeah.
Do you think it'd have to always be these rich eccentric places?
It has to be, right? Like
right? Is that
like,
kind of the thing?
Yeah, like here we go. We're gonna do. It's gonna be like Hugh Grant says, okay, we need to get you out of the house. We're gonna go and do a thing, and they go to like Everest or something, where all these rich people go to do like climbing and stuff. So it's gonna be like a rich person's game, right? And then there's a murder mystery, but they're stuck there like at the base camp, and he has to figure it out from that. I like this. Ryan Johnson, I hope you're listening.
We got it for you, dude.
Yeah,
Heck, I would just appreciate, go to the Swiss Alps and get snowed in somewhere up there and have this murder mystery in this amazing lodge. That'd be awesome.
I think that'd be great. And they're stuck there until till the next day when they clear the snow, and then the Swiss Guard can come in or whatever. So like they're stuck, they're isolated.
Yeah,
I like this idea. Yeah. All right, are we ready for some clips?
Dong.
Because I have.
Sorry, it's 10:15.
Yeah.
I missed the 10 o'clock. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
By the way,
another great cameo.
Do we have a? Do you think that there's a hopping man in this movie? Because I think there's kind of one, sort of.
Well, Ethan Hawke does come and go.
Yeah, I think he served his purpose. I was expecting. It's actually not a person. I was expecting this thing to make a return, but it never did.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
No.
I was honestly expecting the luggage robot to come back into play.
Oh yeah.
Or at least on fire, struggling. Right?
Yeah.
At least something.
Yeah.
I did feel a little bad for it.
Why?
It was carrying everything all at once, which, good for it, but I don't know.
I mean, that takes some serious software to be able to put it all on itself and then to go to each room to drop all the stuff off.
Yeah.
So
they had haptic slap bracelets. So,
yeah,
I mean,
there
you go.
That were programmed ahead of time, even though Benoit Blanc was not supposed to come.
Yeah. I picked up on that too. And right? Like there was.
Well, no, she got the box, so there was a plan.
I did kind of wonder about that. Like, why did she get a box, knowing that he had, or thinking that he had killed her? Why would he send a box?
Well, I think the box were sent out ahead of time.
Or, well, I guess Or was it sent to make it look like he had nothing to do with it because he didn't know about it?
That would be my guess.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, he did say it took somebody a real long time to make the box and all that stuff. So, I mean, he probably commissioned the box back when they were still friends.
Yeah, maybe so.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
He was, okay, so she was killed within a few days of that box getting delivered to everybody. So.
Yeah. That's what makes me think he commissioned it and had it, sent to her.
Mm-hmm.
That was already in motion before he went to do the thing. And
because they said at the beginning of the movie, she's always been invited to these things, but she never shows up.
Yeah.
I do love the fact that she just beats the hell out of it with a hammer. I thought that was
and when you find out why, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
That it's Helen and not Andy opening the box.
We go through this really cool thing where they're all figuring it out. It's a Fibonacci sequence. Shut up, Mom. And Yo-Yo Ma's like, oh, that's whatever it was.
A fugue, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A Bach
Bach's little fugue in G minor.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's a thing where they do layers and whatever, and then, like they do this whole great montage. Is that a montage, guys?
It kind of is,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. It was a puzzle solving montage.
I don't have that. I don't have the our main one.
Oh,
Get this one.
Sean.
You get this one. You get the old montage.
That works.
That's
too.
like as old as Banaka.
Yeah. Well, that's what I had handy. So yeah, we had a good little montage there, which was great. So, and then she just beats the shit out of it with a hammer. That just cracked me up. I laughed. This movie did make me laugh more than Knives Out.
Yeah,
I will say that. Personally, I mean the hot sauce off the nose had me rolling.
Oh my gosh.
God, I can imagine. Oh,
that had me rolling. Okay, here.
Well, when he put the hot sauce in his eyes to make him cry.
There you go.
Now you feel better. All right, sorry, Audie, I stepped right on you. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying when he put the hot sauce in his eyes to make himself cry, and he's like, "Oh my brother, that's too hot."
Yeah. What did he say? He said something really funny too. I didn't capture it. I should have. Oh, I can't remember what he said. It was really funny. Because she then said it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what she said. All right. Anyway, time for the first clip. Here we go.
Because she's afraid that I will tweet an ethnic slur. Again.
Yes, and you agreed, no phone for the rest of the media cycle.
I didn't even know that word referred to Jewish people. I thought it was a generic term for cheap.
Jewy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Then the sweatshop.
Oh.
do you really think they make sweatpants at a sweatshop?
The best part was sounds good. Sounds good, and then your emoji dabbing.
Yeah.
Like that was
there's something to be said to be acting well enough that you are believably acting that dumb. Like that you believe that character is that dumb.
Yeah.
And yet Kate Hudson beautifully pulls it off.
Oh, she's still gorgeous, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
All right. This is something that I think we all can agree on.
Do not hate boobs. Boobs give us many useful things. Boobs give us milk, cheese. Breasts nourish our young until the age where we can go out and hunt for them. Let's be honest. Boobs are fun.
Okay. Like his whole thing there was funny, but like the idea that like boobs give us cheese, like just that mental image is like, because when he said it in the first time I heard him say it, like, it's like, okay, I know what he's trying to say. Like, you can make cheese from milk, but you don't make you can't make cheese from breast milk. So then my image went to like canned spring cheese, you know, like coming out of.
Oh my gosh!
Like that's what happened. Like that's what my mental image went. So again. Rosie, I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry for that, but it was what my mind went to.
The other thing that cracked me up about it is he's responding to Jimmy Kimmel. Like at the top, he's talking to Jimmy Kimmel. Yes, we know Jimmy Kimmel's show now. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't always the super slick talk show host. He used to have a show back in the day.
Oh, the Man Show.
The Man Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it just rung so funny for me that he's trying to defend boobs to Jimmy Kimmel of all people.
Right. Well, because I think obviously like what would probably happen is that because he's on this the manification whatever it was, the manification of America, we got to get the man back in America, whatever. Mm-hmm. So obviously at some point he was like, if you're all about just being a man, then obviously you don't like boobs or something. So that's why he had to do this skit, and then Whiskey comes out, oh, I like my boobs, they're so much fun. Oops, sorry, feministas, or something like that. It's just everything about it is so cringe, and then his mom slaps him in the face, which was funny.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a word.
I know you guys think I'm a hippie, but can we just take a second and fully abbreviate this moment together?
Now, I'll fully admit, when he said it the first time, I didn't quite key in on, wait, that's not a word. I didn't even saying like he just said it so
convincingly.
Convincingly. It was just one of those like.
And it's close enough to another word, abbreviate, that you feel like, oh, okay, right? Because I didn't catch it either the first time, or the three other words or four other words that he says that are just wrong or not a word.
I caught that they weren't words, but I thought they were. I mean, I think it was just the hey, tech bros just make up words to do their job kind of thing. And then when he calls it out at the end, I was like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because it reminded me of like all of those business words that people use, like synergy and
buzzwords.
All those buzzwords that I can't stand. And that's what it reminded me of. It's like, oh, this is just another buzzword.
Yeah.
So, all right. You made reference to it, Audie, earlier.
Like Miles said, I'm a truth teller. Some people can't handle it.
It's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth. Don't you think?
Yeah, such a good line. Again, that is Twitter. So. All right. Remember, you must buttress
yourself.
Reverence, all respect that you had for me when you crossed my threshold. Buttress those feelings now. Buttress them.
I love it. Buttress them. This cracked me up. This cameo just absolutely cracked me up.
Confounds me.
We don't have a motive for Duke or Bertie.
Do either of you two want to do a session or what? 1 o'clock.
And the look that they give is just fantastic. They're just like,
And she's just like, all right, it's your money.
It's your money. He's so rich he can pay Serena Williams to hang out in case somebody wants to do a workout session. It's fantastic. All right.
Beautiful cameo.
Now, they say glass onion in this movie a lot. So, again, not really going to take the time to do a supercut, but here is one of those times.
Look into the clear center of this glass onion. Miles Braun is an idiot.
I love it. And finally, again, Audie mentioned it earlier. It's just dumb.
An allergy.
You can't even have a drop.
Pineapple juice. You just put pineapple juice in his whiskey. It's so dumb. No! It's just dumb.
No! He gets so offended. It's just dumb. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. All right. Time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
This is our game called Hey, Did You Notice? You know, one of these days I'm going to find some cheesy game show music. What do you think? Think I should do that?
Yeah, why not?
Cheesy game show music here. All right, I'm going to work on that for next week.
That won't get us banned or sued. Sure.
I can write us a theme.
Are you going to perform it too, so that we
Sure.
can?
Yeah.
On the
Not
recorder.
live. I'll record it.
Okay. Okay. If you're actually offering, I'm all for it. If not, there's a bunch of free sites I can get.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did you notice? This is a game where Andrew has painstakingly combed through this movie to find the most inane objects about what we must figure out what they are and things like that. So in this week's game, I will play against Audie. Unless Sam, you want to participate too?
Well, I paid attention for God's sake.
All right, so we're going to do Sam and I versus Audie because we're mean. And the thing that we notice in the background, Audie will go first. If you get the answer right, you get a point. If you don't get it right, we have a chance to steal it. And if best out of 5 wins, and of course, as always, if you win or lose, I will mail you some stickers. So there you go.
Yay!
All right, take it away.
All right, Audie, this question goes to you. Benoit Blanc is in the bathtub playing Among Us, playing against Stephen Sondheim, Angela Lansbury, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Natasha, I forget her last name, but they're playing. What is Angela Lansbury's gamer tag?
Oh my gosh!
Oh, it was something. What was it? Oh my gosh. Angela Lilies or something like that.
No.
No.
Sean or Sam?
I have no idea at all.
I want to say it was like Murder She Wrote or Murder Wrote or something like that.
It's close, but I can't give it to you. It is M. She Solved.
M. She Solved. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. M. She Solved. All right. Sean and Sam, as all of our characters are opening their boxes to get their invitations from Miles, they have to do Fibonacci sequences, and they have to figure out that there's a compass in the box. There's also an element in the box, silver. What is the atomic number of silver?
Are you serious?
That was one of the questions they had to know to open the box.
Hold on. It's 46, 45, something like that. Isn't it 46?
What were you going to say, Sean?
My brain said 48. That's what popped in my head was 48.
Okay. It's in the upper 40s, but I can't remember.
But we're obviously wrong.
Yeah, we're
Audie?
obviously wrong.
Do you
I
have a
wrote this
guess?
one down. 47.
Yeah? It is 47.
Ah, no.
We're on the other side of it.
In anticipation of this, I wrote down like so much stuff for that stupid
Yeah.
box.
That's amazing. He wrote it down.
There you go. All right, Audie. This
This is a
goes
guest
back.
that does his homework. I love it.
Yeah, we'll
Oh
see.
my gosh.
This question goes back to you, Audie. What is Lionel's job before meeting Miles?
Oh. They talked about it.
Yeah, Duke was a video game guy.
Right.
Right. What was Lionel's job before meeting Miles?
Ooh.
He was a train conductor.
I don't even have a good guess.
You know,
All right.
This one. I know it
Sam?
because I substitute teacher.
He is a substitute
yeah.
teacher. Yes.
Mhm.
Nice.
Very good. All right, 1-1.
All right, I got one.
All right, Sean and Sam, this is yours. What animal made of glass is on Miles's desk? He has all these glass statues or crystal statues, glass statues, and there's one animal on his desk.
I thought it was like a giraffe or something.
That is correct. It was a giraffe. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice guys. Good
All
job.
right.
See, this is why
Yeah.
my brain was smoking, coming from this movie.
Nice.
All right. Audie, this is your question. You have a chance to tie it up here.
All right.
What was the name of the book Andy found the letter in?
Oh, it was. Hold on, because I wrote this down too.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, if any movie was made for this game, I was like, it was Note for Future Biographers.
No.
Oh,
Sean?
When she,
Oh no, I read the wrong note.
She pushed the bookshelf over and
Nope,
the book fell out, and that's
Nope,
where
that's
she
what-
noticed the napkin. So
I actually don't. When he said book,
I've
I
got
thought it was a different thing. So I actually don't know, Sam.
Can I
it
steal
was
it
not
back?
of mice and men. It's usually one of these. Crap.
Go ahead,
mice
Audie.
and men.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
it's-
as far as.
It was The Innovator's Dilemma
that is correct.
by Clayton Christensen, which is a real book. Like,
Yeah.
I did not realize that until I Googled it just to see. I was like, is this real? Is this fake?
So I didn't. I could have come up with another question, but I didn't because I didn't. I didn't think we would need a tiebreaker. So we're going to end in a tie today.
All right. Hey,
I
that's
have one.
fine.
No, I have one here.
Okay.
I have one because I wrote this one. This is the one that I wrote down. So this will
Okay.
be Sam and Audie. What book is Serena Williams reading?
Oh,
If you would have
I didn't
asked
pay
me an
attention to
hour
that
ago,
one.
I would have remembered. It's not the Gray Man. It's crap. I don't remember.
It's called Gravity's Rainbow.
Gravity's Rainbow.
I paused it to write it down.
Nice.
All right, well, we'll end in a tie.
Yeah.
We all get stickers. I like it.
GG.
Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right, well, this movie is all on an island. Well, majority of it on an island and some of it in his bathtub, but for the most part in an island, on an island. So we are picking movies that are on an island. And this week, Sam will go first.
Sure. Honorable mention to Lost, the TV show, which
All right.
launched Abrams kind of into the stratosphere. My number 3 is Castaway with Tom Hanks and Fire.
And Wilson.
My number 2 is it's a little movie called The Rock.
Nice.
Which may or may not be the best movie made by Mr. Bay out there. And my number 1, Sean, you knew this was coming.
Oh, yeah.
You knew it was too easy.
Oh, yeah.
It was way too easy. It's got to be The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, stop it.
It's Jurassic Park. Of course it is. It has to be.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Audie.
All right. I'm going to do one honorable mention. I know we talked about not doing something like this, but I got to play it anyways because I love the movie. It's not specifically an island, but it incorporates all those tropes, and that's The Martian.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to try and think of I made a list of some and going for those that are not typically picked. So I would say my number 3 is The Island.
Okay.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, yeah.
Oh, that's another Michael. You know, he reused footage in that one from previous movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, I think he used footage from that in the Transformers movies.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
My number 2 is Hook.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, good.
And then my number 1 is one that is just endearing to my childhood. It is the 1960s Disney version of Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was on repeat on Saturday afternoons at our house.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just having that whole dang tree house.
Yeah.
And that was the big dream of all us swamp kids in Florida, was to build a Swiss Family Robinson house in the middle of the woods, or in the middle of the swamp. So,
and then you visit the one in Disney World and you go, okay.
No.
Yeah, it's funny because we did.
So underwhelming.
Well, my kids were bummed because they wanted to play on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're
It's
like,
just kind of walk around.
you just walk around on it, and they're like, you couldn't touch anything. Like they were bummed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So I also had The Rock, but I'll switch that one out since we had that.
Okay.
So my number 3 now is 6 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford and Anne Heche.
Nice.
Which has one of my funniest scenes ever in it. My number 2 is going to be Shutter Island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With DiCaprio. And my number 1 is a book that I read and really loved, and then they came out with the movie that Clint Eastwood directed, and that is Flags of Our Fathers.
Oh.
It's most of the movie.
There you
go.
2 islands, or same island, 2 people.
What?
Isn't it Iwo Jima? Both of them?
What do you mean both?
Well, he's got Flags of Our Fathers and
Letters from Iwo Jima. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one. I watched Flag.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yes, he did. He directed 2 movies on the same island from the point of view of each side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Andrew.
Okay. I have an honorable mention of Shipwrecked.
Oh my gosh, that Disney.
Yeah.
It's one from my childhood.
That about 5 months ago, and my son looked at me and goes, "Swiss Family Robinson is better."
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Gabriel Byrne. So.
It does not have Gabriel sideburns in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must have watched Shipwreck, I don't know, 10, 20 times when I was growing up.
Many times, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's my honorable mention. Number 3, I have 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Number 2, I have Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn. And then number 1, Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one too.
Yeah.
But
Oh, and
I thought about that one, but the majority of the movie isn't like they think they're on an island, but they're not.
Right.
They're just like in his backyard.
In his head. Yeah.
Yeah. But it does.
I was also going to include one that I thought you would include, which was Waterworld.
Oh, Sean.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But again, like 99.5% of the movie is a boat. You know,
Which
like
is
the
true.
island is at the very end. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, you're not wrong. That's a good one. And then of course you have the floating city, the atoll, which again I have seen in real life. All right, Twitter. Not a lot of things. I have to step up my Twitter game here because we're not getting a whole lot of traction here. But Ebony once again showed out as she does. She really enjoyed the fact that I read all of her list last week, which was very long. She also said Shutter Island, as well as Battle Royale and Scooby Doo.
Battle Royale. Good Lord.
And then she says, special shout out to Castaway, but although it's a great movie, I also hate it for reasons. So
she just doesn't like FedEx.
Yeah.
They've effed up too many of her packages.
I don't know, maybe. Okay, I do need to bitch about the U.S. Postal Service for just a second.
Here we go.
I mailed Ebony stickers. She lives in Australia. I mailed her some stickers. This was a while ago. It took them about 15 days to get there, right? 16 days to get to Australia. I mailed some stickers to a friend in Canada. It took 28 days to get there.
Huh.
I have stickers. You know our friend Sarah from the Bird in the Hand podcast?
Yeah.
I mailed her some stickers. They have not arrived yet. We're going on day, what's today, the 25th? We're going on day 25. I mailed them on the 1st. 25 days to get to Missouri. Like, what the F, post office?
Wow.
That's crazy.
It really.
Carrier pigeons could get it there for sooner.
I could have driven it there. I mean,
Mhm.
more expensive, but
And creepy.
yeah. By the way, hi Sarah. Here are your stickers. Okay, time to leave. Maxton, good friend of the show, friend of ours, and college friend. Maxton says 50 First Dates, Swiss Army Man, and Castaway.
Yeah.
And he also says the movie itself was okay. Wish the ending was different. Janelle Monáe killed it.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Somebody else that wishes the ending was different. That's interesting. All right. Well, that's it. Now I played this clip here.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
And we rank this movie. We give it a score from, not rank, but we give it a score from 0 to 10. And we start this week with Andrew.
Maybe, if I can unmute. IMDb has it at a 7.2 out of 10. I think that's fair. I don't remember what I gave Knives Out, but I'm sure it was higher than that. I can go a little bit higher, but not much. I'm going to say 7.3, just because I want to be a contrarian like that.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
You are certainly welcome to do that. By the way, you gave Knives Out a 9.2.
Yeah. I there's not many that I give 9s or above to.
No.
So I really like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Audie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go high. I'm giving this a 9 for me. Like, I just thought it was outstanding. The cinematography, good gosh. Like, and watching one of the breakdowns of Rian Johnson talking about his shots, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that melted my brain. Like, just thinking about that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just beautifully shot, and I think every actor in this killed it for their part. So, yeah.
I cannot disagree, nor will I. Sam.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I'll give it an 8.1 out of 10.
All right, 8.1. Okay, I too like this movie a lot. I gave because I was able to look back at the score. I gave Knives Out also I think a 9.2. So I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
Oh wow, nice.
I really had a good time with this. I'm not going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9.1. There we go. That makes that math a little bit better. That gives it a score of an 8.375. That's the exact same score we gave RRR.
Oh wow, nice.
There you go.
I can't do that. No, I can't. I can't in good conscience. I don't know why. I love this movie, but I think
More than RRR.
I don't know. See, that's the thing.
Right? They're two
I
different
think I
types
would-
of movies.
Yeah, I would rather watch RRR, but I don't
Yeah.
have 3 hours to do so.
That's the thing. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna give this movie a 9.15. So that kicks it to an 8.3875. Just a little bit over. Again, if RRR wasn't 3 hours long,
Yes, yeah.
then that's probably it. Which again, the Nacho song is up for an Oscar for best.
God, I love it.
Song, which is so.
I hope they dance. I hope they actually do the thing on stage.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Gosh, that'd be amazing. Which, by the way, I do want to toot our own horn because I don't get to toot our own horn very often. So, as I mentioned, a few weeks ago, we passed 9 years as a podcast, which is pretty awesome.
Congrats.
And on Twitter, thank you. I did post on Twitter some of our stats and stuff. YouTube is kind of a new thing. I mean, YouTube for us has been kind of new. We have almost every episode is on YouTube, but it's just been the logo. Only recently have we started putting our faces on YouTube, and I think it is paying off. But the RRR episode has gone just well beyond normal expectations. And as the last time that I checked was nearing 3,000 views.
Good
Dang.
God.
Which for us
That's crazy.
is a lot.
That's awesome.
I don't understand.
We're at 2,600, so we're not quite there yet. We're getting, maybe it's slowing down, but I mean, there's, it's really interesting, and we've gotten a lot of comments on the YouTube page. So if you're 96 likes on that video, like that's again unheard of for us. I mean, that most podcasts are like, we that's a bad episode for us. It's a fantastic episode for us. So I'm very excited. So go check out, if you aren't already, go subscribe to our YouTube page, and you can check out all of our other ones there, including RRR. With that all having been said, Audie, please tell our listeners where they can find your two podcasts.
Sure. So I do one with TV's Travis, who y'all have had on before. We do a podcast called Let's Watch Highlander, where we are going through episode by episode Highlander the series. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been very eye-opening how well a series about immortals that chop each other's heads off can actually write really good relationships in between all that. So we're doing that. We go through the movies in between seasons and stuff. So there's that one. And then the other one I do with Travis and also Steven Adams and Amy Frost is called Those Were the Days, where we look at classic TV shows, basically anything 90s back. And we do like a theme each month of what we're watching. We just finished watching cooking shows. We started off with pilots. Our next topic is variety shows. So each episode, one of us picks a show, we all watch it, and then we talk about it. So those were the days.
Very cool. All right. That's it. That's our show. What do you do now? Well, this is where you go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com, or our linktree/cheapseatreviews, there where you can find links to all of our social medias and things like that. And go to our YouTube page. Also, if you're watching me on YouTube and you see this lovely hoodie that I'm wearing, you can get one of your own. And if you look on Andrew's screen, you can see the cool mug that he has. You can also get one of those of your own at tpublic.com. Search for Cheap Seat Reviews, and do it when there's stuff on sale. They do sales like twice a month, 35% off. Go check it out. Buy some stuff. Help us support the show financially. Helps keep the lights going. Next week, well, we have some guests returning. You might be thinking, oh, those ladies again? Yes, those ladies again. The ladies of Opinionated Lushes are returning to our podcast because they are awesome, and we also scheduled them. I've scheduled this movie about 3 months ago when I saw the first preview for it on Amazon called Shotgun Wedding with Jay and Josh Duhamel. It looked hilarious. And I was talking to Jess and I said, we need to get you guys back on. I said, this looks hysterical. She said, absolutely. We didn't know that they were going to sub in for us in December. So we've had them, it would be 3 times in 3 months. And you know what? I'm for it. I think it's fantastic. So next week is Shotgun Wedding with Opinionated Luscious. That's it. That's our show. That's awesome. Gonna do it for us. So I play this here and say on behalf of Audie and Sam and Andrew, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, and we'll see you next week for Shotgun Wedding.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.